Welcome to Share Talk, the only podcast where investors come first.
We welcome back David Price, CEO of Rockfire Resources, which is an Australian-focused gold and exploration company. Hi David, how are you?
I'm well, Rob. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. You released news to the market this morning. So the first question is that you've hit some very broad gold intersections. Do you think you can tell us more about what this means for Plateau?
Sure. It's very hard not to get excited over those intervals, Rob. So as you can see from the RNS this morning, it's quite rare to hit 171 metres at 0.4 grams gold. And a second hole that's hit 170 metres at 0.4. A third hole that's hit 154 metres at 0.2. These are huge intervals. I did a bit of a search just out of my own interest to try and give people a bit of an idea of what that actually means. In true width, you're looking at around between 70 and 80 metres of true width. And I looked up in London, the height of the Monument Tower is, the monument itself is 62 metres. So it's actually wider than the height of the monument. So that sort of gives you an idea of the true width of this mineralisation. So the width itself is something to get very, very excited about, because you're looking at an enormous system that's mineralising this rock over a true width of 70 metres. So clearly the 170 that we're hitting, the 154 metres, they're not true widths. A couple of the holes are a little bit misleading. Hole 29 hit 28 metres at half a gram. And what we did is we actually found that the rig was too close to the mineralisation. We started drilling, we drilled through the mineralisation and out the other side. And it was very close to surface. So that 28 metres on that map that we provided in the RNS is actually not accurate at what's happening at depth. Similarly, hole 28, we actually sighted that hole a bit too far away from the mineralisation, and we snagged it in the last 10 metres. So we had 10 metres at 0.3 grams gold. And the very last sample, we had 1.7 grams gold. So, look, we have hit it in those holes, and we're very excited by the width. It just shows the size of this system. So these are great intercepts for us, and we're very excited by the width of them. I think that this will just get, it'll either get larger or it may actually stay the same sort of width if you look at what happens up at Mt Wright up the road, where they had these sort of intervals close to surface, and that continues a long way down. So we're pretty hopeful that this will continue as we go deeper.
Some good results in, David. The second question I'm going to ask is related to the grades, which are between 0.2 and 0.4 grams per tonne on average over the length of each hole. Are these grades considered economic, and do you see them as significant?
Oh, clearly, Rob, 0.2 to 0.4 grams isn't economic, and I can't imagine that anybody would even suggest they are. What it shows is the vast mineralisation that's going on at Plateau. There's enormous fluid flow, there's enormous gas flow. But bear in mind, within that system, we're hitting 39 metres at a gram, we're hitting 11 metres at 2.3, 10 metres a gram, 19 metres a gram. These results include higher grades within that package. In the RNS, we quoted a single metre. It was the peak value of 10 grams gold. That's a great hit in anybody's book. So we're very excited by this. What you have to remember, this is where people make the mistake, possibly because they don't understand the geology and the mineralising systems, is that this is very, very typical of what you get sitting above these ore bodies. So the ore bodies are deeper, and upwards you get this leakage of the mineralisation, you get gases and fluids, and they tend to have this lower grade halo. So what we've plugged into here is a very, very large lower grade halo, and we're expecting the grades to improve at depth as we see in other deposits that we've modelled, like Mt Wright.
Okay. And do you think you can talk us through the comparison between Plateau and Mt Wright, which you provided in the RNS?
Absolutely. We provided a comparison image of Mt Wright, and we're seeing enormous similarities between Plateau and Mt Wright, not only the geology and the geochemistry, but at Mt Wright, surface grades and near surface grades guess what? They're averaging 0.2 to 0.5 grams gold, which is precisely what we're getting at Plateau. Their discovery hole came in at 158 metres from surface. And that discovery hole, by the way, was 427 metres at 2.4 grams gold. That is an enormous discovery hole. That's ahead of us, and that's what we're looking forward to as we drill deeper at Plateau. So look, the geophysics is very similar. We're getting resistivity anomalies, and the resistivity was the best detector of the mineralisation at Mt Wright. They then did this CSAMT, which is this controlled source audiomagnetotellurics, which actually gave them a better resolution of the mineralisation at depth. And this is what we're looking to do at Plateau as well, to try and develop this. So at Mt Wright, they have an upper zone, which is light on gold, which is what we see, but we also have anomalous lead, we have anomalous zinc, we have anomalous silver and antimony. This is precisely what we're seeing in our multi-element geochemistry at Plateau. And I think this is a very, very good comparison. The analogy is great. And so far, the model is working. So we're excited by that.
Good to hear. The last question I'm going to ask is that we noticed the wet season is upon you in North Queensland. When do you expect that to finish, and can we expect any news flow in the interim?
Look, the wet season will typically go till about the end of March, maybe early April. And don't forget the wet season was supposed to finish at November. And we were drilling in January, so we were very, very fortunate to be able to get the rig in there before the wet season started. And as soon as we see indications that the wet season is abating, we'll be straight in there again. So look, we're not going to beat around the bush. We're going to get straight in there and start drilling as quickly as we can. In the meantime, we've got multi-element analysis underway. So the gold results that we released today will be followed by the multi-element silver, lead, zinc, copper. So we're going to do a full suite of analysis. And what that will help us to do is to create geochemical zonations that will provide vectors towards the higher grades. And we're working with a consultant geochemist. And the geochemist is actually the consultant in the very early exploration and the discovery of Mt Wright. So we're very fortunate to be working with him, and he's guiding our drill holes and he's guiding our geochemistry, and we're all very excited by what we see at Plateau. It's shaping up quite nicely. So far, so good. And also, of course, what we're going to be doing during the wet season is using the best of the time. We're going to remodel the geology, we'll remodel the mineralisation, and we'll actually end up with a greater knowledge of the mineralisation towards the end of the wet season, which will then lead into targeted drilling.
And I'm sure you'll be in touch with us with that news. David, it's been a pleasure, and look forward to hearing from you again.
Good on you. Thanks, Rob.
Thank you for listening. Remember to visit our website for more news and other podcasts at www.share-talk.com.